Welcome to Precursive. I am Rico, our training and enablement specialist, and today I'll be introducing you to the world of Precursive. Let's start with improving the transition between sales and services teams. We know that this process can slow things down. In Precursive, when an opportunity reaches a certain stage, a Precursive project is created automatically. Let's go ahead and close this opportunity, and we're going to select Close One, and that creates the project. Typically, depending on what has been sold and or what is in the statement of work, the project will have the relevant start date, budget, revenue, and relevant resource requirements. Don't worry if the close date here pushes out. The opportunity and the project can stay in sync. So if the close date pushes out, the project start date can be updated along with any resource requests or bookings that have already been made for this project. Precursive reduces the admin burden on your team's need to create a project manually and can provide a good view of what work is upcoming and the relevant staffing needs and timelines. Next, we can move to Precursive projects. Here I have the project that was just created. So if I'm the head of the PM team or a project manager for this project, I can see when this work begins and all the information here. Here, I can check the planned financials of this project. We can see that I have my budget, costs, which come from staff costs, and Precursive calculates my profit and margin in real time. When resources start logging time against it, I will also be able to track our performance and make sure the project is running on time and within budget. All this information will also roll up into reports, which I'll share later. Bear in mind that you can configure Precursive to recognize revenue in different ways. For example, based on time spent or on milestones as two examples. We have our project plan with the relevant tasks and timelines. All this has been built automatically from a template based upon what we sold and our chosen delivery method. Finally, here, I also have our resource plan. We can see that we need a couple of people for this project, a PM and a consultant, and when they are needed. The tasks that they need to complete sync automatically with the resource plan to populate the effort required and show their utilization. From here, I can go ahead and assign work to the resources who would be the best fit for my client. I can do that project by project, directly from the project record, or I can use a Precursive plan to manage work assignments across multiple projects. Let's imagine that I'm a resource manager responsible for planning our team's work. I can use a Precursive plan in order to answer simple questions like who is available, when can we start, or who is overworked. Down the left, I can see my team and then parallel to their names, their capacity. If I hover over the capacity bar, I can see what has been used and what is available per day. In this way, I immediately know how many hours I can book someone before they hit their limit. I can also go into more details by opening up the resource to see what projects they have been booked on. From here, I can also see when people are on PTO or doing internal projects, so that when assigning work, I can then use these available white spaces as a guide to be able to communicate when a project can start and more quickly mobilize my team. So let's go ahead and switch to request mode to visualize what requests we've got pending and find the best fit for each piece of work. Our mass resource allocation tool will allow you to assign multiple roles simultaneously, thus saving time in managing work assignments, all from the same screen. As I'm in request mode, I can see open requests that need fulfilling. When I select a requested role, this will automatically pull a list of all the available resources with that particular role. I can then filter them to find resources with the required skills. I'm also able to search for people, project roles, or other things using my search filters and even save them for later. So far, we have shared how an opportunity turns into a project in Precursive and that the relevant budgets, costs, and staffing requirements can be added automatically. Imagine I'm a project manager or another member of the project team contributing to the work. From the project board, I can see what we're working on. and I can see the list of tasks that we need to complete for this project. After assigning roles from the Precursive plan, we can also see who is going to work on each task. I'm also able to see what the timeline is like. From here, I can set a baseline for our work. That way, if anything is delayed or extended, I can immediately see how many days the project is delayed by. I'm also able to collaborate with my team to ensure the work gets done effectively. As we complete tasks and record time against them, I can see the progress of the work. For example, from the board header, I can see the status overview, the number of completed tasks, and even what project stage we're on. This allows me to see how far through we are with the project and if anything is delayed. I can also log health ratings to keep an eye on the health of the customer's onboarding. As a project manager, I can then share this plan with my customer utilizing different sharing options, depending upon the level of collaboration I require from my customers. This allows you to see how all this drives more productivity working internally and with our customers, which leads to a better overall experience and improved time to value. Now let's take a look at some of the reporting capabilities for Precursive. Given that we are 100% native to Salesforce, we leverage the Salesforce reporting engine, which allows for some powerful ways to create tailored reports and dashboards on key KPIs, such as capacity, project performance, revenue and profitability, and our utilization, among others. As the head of the PM team, for example, I can forecast demand. Here we can see the overall utilization of the team, our scheduled work, and what needs to be scheduled. This provides us the opportunity to compare each week what capacity we need by role and whether we can meet that demand. I can also keep track of our capacity and utilization. I want to be able to have a forward and historical view of our team's utilization. This data is driven by what we have planned for our teams, as well as the time recorded in timesheets. This allows us to compare how accurate our planning is versus the time work is actually taking. Understanding that variance is key if we are to improve the performance of our services organization. I can check profit and margins across our services deliveries. This shows me the profitability of projects, the portfolio, as well as at a client level, who are our most profitable customers. And finally, I can forecast revenue and compare actuals versus planned. As previously stated, we can forecast and recognize revenue in a range of ways. As examples, we can recognize revenue based on time spent or based on milestones. As previously mentioned, customer collaboration is key, and Precursive Customer Workspace effortlessly encourages this collaboration. Precursive Customer Workspace is hosted on Salesforce Experience Cloud. Say goodbye to endless updating of manual email chains and allow your customers to self-serve their updates. Assign your customer to their workspace, and they can view at any time. Chatter allows you to communicate directly with your customers from within the portal. Set your customer tasks and deadlines by asking them to upload files directly. Project your project milestones and recognize your revenue faster, all within the workspace. Finally, let's invoice our customer directly from Precursive. Precursive billing allows your internal teams to work directly from one platform, assign, complete, and invoice work within Precursive. Project managers are able to approve time and expenses for each project, which immediately starts to form an invoice. Once the invoice is sent from within Precursive, Your team will be able to track if it has been paid or queried by the customer, reducing the admin burden of your team and increasing time to value. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn more about our product, head over to our product guide page or reach out to our team for a meeting.